All right, and
Hello.
we are live with Coral Clash Low Tide number 10 here. We're starting a smidge late due to having some downtime from the maintenance break, but we are back. Looks like we have Cautious Q and Insomniac Central facing off against each other.
Yeah, these two teams, I'm assuming are pickups. I know Caution Q is a mix of Solo Q and Caution. But in Insomniac Central, it's I've never heard of a lot of the players on their teams, so it's gonna be interesting to see how they play and how they can adapt to Caution Q's play style.
Yeah. I do believe Insomniac Central, they might have some players who are picking up, but I believe they are like a new formed team. I remember
Oh,
Noir there was trying to form up a new team. I don't know if he's fully completed it, but uh, yeah, looks like our match is about to begin here. We are going into Undertow Spillway on Rainmaker, classic map here.
yeah, and Undertale Rainmaker is one of the recent maps that have gotten a rework, not in 8.0.0, but in set 7.1.0. And now the map is way more open. So now fights aren't gonna be so clumped together.
Yeah, they opened up the little area down there so that way mid's a little bigger. As you can see, the dualies are going right through there trying to grab a couple picks. See, no Rainmaker pickups so far. Both teams just trying to get some key picks as we see who will emerge from this battle.
Yeah, and look, every Insomniac Central going 3 down right before getting that Zip Caster, and that is a delayed right, and now Caution Q is moving up, and they get this checkpoint on right or on left, and Caution Q is now set up to get really big points on this.
Yeah, now that the Uninkables gone, it's definitely much better flow to try and push the Rainmaker up, which is nice. And it looks like they get it down to 21. Very impressive. We're not even a minute 30 in the game, and they have a really good lead right now.
Yeah, and and we see Typho giving jumps to two of their teammates here, and Caution Q is trying to keep this push going, but we see the Rapid go down to the Stamper, and we see the Zipcaster out, but who knows if they're gonna get any takes? Looks like they aren't.
Yeah, I mean, fumbling a little bit there, but thankfully the rest of their team managed to clutch up, and looks like they're going to be looking for some picks to try and create a push of their own. Do you see the Tri-Slosher on the, I believe that's the far right, setting up cooler for their team? That was a launch of a cooler.
Yeah, and we see Caution Q pushing back into mid, just stopping Insomniac Soul's push like right then and there. And now Austin Q is on the offense, but we see Insomniac Central getting the trap down and now rushing the Rainmaker, and they do get it. And Insomniac Central is now trying to like get back together and start to form a push, but we see the Inkjet out.
Got a nice inkjet there that was able to help disorient some of the members from Insomniac. Definitely unfortunate that the Rainmaker got away from them as they are back on the defense, hoping to manage to break out of this bad situation here.
Yeah, and we see this junior playing ultra defense right now, just spamming bombs, which is Junior's heavy specialty, trying to clear up space and Insomniac Central is slowly moving back in, but I think Insomniac Central needs to get some picks here. And as you see, they get one down, which is their cooler. It's gonna be really important shaping team fight, but the crab is two down, and Hashiki is setting up to push again for the third time.
Yeah, this is impressive. I'm actually noticing here, Caution Q is running a cooler comp, but Insomniac has no cooler at the moment. They are trying to win this match without a cooler, but definitely going to be a bit harder to stop this in aggression as the members from Caution Q are constantly able to keep respawning quickly because of that cooler.
Yeah, Oh my gosh, and we see Typo get two. We see him grab the rain, but the Zipcaster who gets canceled and they don't get the rain. Caution Q is trying to get points here, but who knows they will be, and the Rainmaker does go down to the Trash Finger.
Yep, definitely clutch on Insomniac as Caution used two specials in order to try and push the Rainmaker up, but they were unsuccessful. We see Wings here taking advantage of the very, very recent Stringer buffs to try and carve a path for his team.
Yeah, those Stringer buffs could be really impactful into getting your team in with the extra pain it has. And we see the Crab Tank come out, but we don't really see any real value um come out of that Crab Tank. But we do see the Stamper get one off of the Rainmaker pop, which could be which could be huge because that's their cooler, and cooler is the core of Caution Q's comp.
Yeah, definitely right there. Though it seems Koshiki is still doing pretty well, even when their try goes down occasionally, as we see timers ticking down, only one member of Insomniac left, and unfortunately the Luna does go down. Looks like Caution Q is going to be taking the first game here.
Yeah, that's a really well played game from Caution Q, and Caution Q didn't allow Insomniac Central to push a lot. Like Insomniac only got 1 point. That's not huge. And Caution Q had amazing defense and just were they able to get back in on defense a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, now running a cooler is a big risk, and I also notice on Insomniac side, they're not running a lot of really strong specials. Like, they got that Zip, and they got that Whale, but then they got Junior in here with Bubble, and just no Zuka, no Crab, don't believe they had an Inkjet either, so not a lot of specials there to try and get yourselves out of a jam, which definitely makes it a lot harder to try and push in.
Yeah, and that's like super unfortunate because Caution Q has a bunch of specials that can help them out with pushing, especially that Crab Tank. Crab Tank is like, especially since Insomniac Central doesn't have a cooler, Crab Tank just mows down their comp so much. And also that Inkjet heavily punishes Insomniac Central as well, since they can't get back in the fight as fast if they don't have the cooler out.
Yeah, I mean, also just hard to counter that Inkjet. I mean, they did have the Luna, but aside from that, not too many weapons super well suited to stopping an Inkjet. So, curious to see if they'll attempt any comp changes in an attempt to counter this honestly pretty well put together comp. We see we got a Range Blaster coming out, so trying to grab a weapon which is much better at countering Crab and Inkjet.
Yeah, and we also still see this Tri-Stringer come out from Insomniac Central, and also on this side of Insomniac Central, there is no cooler again, and Insomniac Central is heavily relying on their just regular instincts and not being heavily buffed by coolers.
Hey, I mean, credit to them. They don't need no coffee to stay awake. They got the built-in ability to stay awake late at night. See, we got a Whale coming out from Wings here, trying to help displace the Crab. Now turn Doolies. We got an Inkstorm coming up as well, and an Inkjet coming out. Dang.
Yeah, all of these specials being forced onto Insomniac Central here, and Allegro is just riding tower, just and I'm pretty sure they popped another cooler, but we see the Stamper get a huge pick, but but will they be able to find the next one? They don't, and they end up dying, which is heavily unfortunate because Caution Q is just heavily pushing this tower. I think Caution Q is trying to go for this knockout.
Looks like they are going to be stopped, but they do have the Tri-Slosher there, probably looking to try and get a pick on the bow. Oh, does have to jump out, though. Doesn't want to risk having their cooler meter reduced, which is fair. Looks like we got the Nautilus trying to make some plays onto the bunker there as well.
Yeah, for sure. And we do see this Tri-Stringer, like, spamming shots on left. just trying, just like trying to get a pick, so their team can move in. But Insomniac Central is going 2 down and make that 3 down because of the late wipe, and the Stamper gets a pick on the knot on the bunker, and the Stamper is going off right now. But the Rapid will be able to just shut it down and not have to get any more picks from what it's already gotten.
Yeah, I mean that taking a nice trade on the range there. That Rapid definitely pretty dangerous. You know, don't want to underestimate that. And of course, the Dooley's got another crab going. It's over now, but probably got some good value with that. Getting a bomb trying to destroy the bubble, and we got an ink storm coming up, probably to try and help heal and do damage to the enemy team.
Yeah,
Ooh, nice double
and
there.
yeah, this Rapid is just giving poking and chip damage, but they do go down to the strength, which is very interesting because now Insomniac Central is now trying to push up. But we see this dually up here. I think that's the dually. Yeah, that is the dually. Just moving up here and getting picks. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't think they. I think they know the dually's here. Yeah, and that's a great huge 2v1 from Insomniac Central, killing that dually and getting rid of that cat tank.
Yeah, we also see the Rapid go down. Looks like Insomniac probably going to be able to get a push up here. Junior getting a bubble in mid, which is nice. Grabbing a pick on the Nautilus. And the Dooley too, which is impressive. We do have one player behind, though. We'll see if they manage to catch out that bucket, and they do. We also,
Yeah,
looks like we got a Zipcaster going in as well.
yeah, and that Bucky kill is super important, as I mentioned before, because that's the cooler, and now their cooler is stalled. So I think Insomniac Central has the potential to push this back, but right as to say that Insomniac Central goes 3 down, and it's just a sort to just to try to survive, but they do go down, and the last is forced to jump out here, and Caution Q is now on the way to make another push in the last minute.
Yeah, definitely a dangerous position for Insomniac Central to be in. They really need to shut this push down quickly. The closer that tower gets into their base, the harder it'll be to try and retake here. Uh, might be having that happen. Looks like we have a 2v2 at the moment, and Insomniac does have the special advantage. Take down another player on the dualies there. Looks like they are going to be able to get one last push going here as it comes down to the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, and we see the Stamper playing super aggro, but being forced to back up because they don't want to die here. Um, and we see 2 people pushing bunkers, but I feel like Insomniac Central just needs to get picked, especially on this Rapid and this Nautilus. And this Nautilus is trying to cause terror onto Insomniac Central, and with possibly like moving back in with that cooler, it's gonna be really tough for Insomniac Central to get back in, and that is game 2 going to cost you.
Yeah, definitely impressive. Their specials were able to wreak a lot of havoc. I mean, there just wasn't that much Insomnia could have done at the very end there. I mean, breaking through Crab, Inkstorm, Inkjet. It's a lot of tough specials to try and break through, and they were kind of being pretty reliant on just the power of their main weapons. So, uh, good job to Caution Q there, managing to uh, grab a nice 2-0 there. Definitely impressive.
Yeah, for sure. And that is unfortunately going to be the end of Insomniac Central's run here. And Caution Q is going to be moving on to the semifinals, I think.
Yeah, that will be the semis, as we are in single elims here.
I see. So yeah, congratulations to Caution Q. Both teams though played really well that game. And Caution Q is strong. I can't wait to see what else they see in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, definitely impressive. I'm glad Insomniac tried running a coolerless comp there. I mean, we need more coolerless comps in the meta right now. Cooler is really dominating things, and even though they didn't win, it's nice to see that they still did fairly well without running a cooler.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And looking at these brackets here, we see Prominence getting a 2-0 win against, is that Yokai Watch Wibble Wobble. I think that's their name.
Yeah, Yokai Watch Wibble Wobble.
That is truly a funny name. And in also in round one, we see 10% increase splash wall at a tie against our RIT. I do not know the team. Okay. RIT Tiger
RIT
Shark.
Tigers, I believe.
Yes. And also Seasick and Squid EST up against each other at a tiebreaker.
Hmm. Yeah, it looks like they're just going into their final match now, as they do have a live stream going. So good luck to both teams over there.
Yeah, and now we are going to take a small break until round two, and we will be back with more World Class Low Tide.
And we are back. As we move into the semifinals, we have Prominence facing off against Seasick. I hope they are still able to complete these matches despite being sick.
um, y- and yeah, you're completely right. And these two teams, I think Prominence is new, is a newer team, and I think Seasick has been out for a while, and it's gonna be interesting to see how these two teams pair up against each other. And also looking at these maps, Umami Zones, Scorch Clams, and Crab Leg Capital have all been reworked in this most recent patch. So it's gonna be interesting to see how teams play around these new additions to these existing maps.
Indeed. Crableg is only changes in zones, so we won't be able to see
Oh,
those. But Umami and Scorch do both have changes. Umami will definitely be a treat to see, as it is surprisingly changed. To the point I'm surprised they didn't announce it on Twitter. So, but we are starting off with a classic Inkblot Art Academy. We will get to Umami in a little bit later.
yeah. And I want to highlight Inkblot Tower. Inkblot Tower is like kind of simultaneously like one of the most snowbally maps, or it can be one of the most snowbally maps in the game, or it can be a huge stall fest. Um, and and mainly teams want to take control of the bats area of Inkblot. So it's gonna be interesting to see how good these pushes go.
Indeed. One thing I do like about Inkblot is even though it can snowball quite a bit, it can snowball both ways. So one team can get a big push, and another team can follow it up with a big push themselves. And curious to see how both teams will manage to take those fights. I think classic map. Both teams know exactly how they want to play this, so we'll see which team has the better positioning.
Yeah, and these comps especially on the side of C-Stick, we see a Hydra Splatling and also the Junior coming back for another set. Junior gameplay is not done yet, but I'm really interested to see how this Hydra gameplay goes. And C-Stick is already 2 down, and Prominence has already taken the lead, starting their first push in less than 30 seconds.
Indeed. It looks like we actually got a big bubbler on both sides. We got a roller coming out here, wrecking havoc. Definitely interesting roller. Big bubbler now has a little bit of paint when it spawns in. So definitely pretty useful if you're trying to go deep into the enemy base and get one set up. We do see, though, unfortunately, only the Hydra left on Seasick, forced to pop a Booyah Bomb, trying to protect his team. And allow the other members to get in. Looks like we got Moody going in on the bats, trying to flush them out.
Yeah, and we see Prominence getting a push to 40, and they are just keeping it going here with the Zuka coming out, but Prominence needs to be careful here. They're 2 down, and we see the pencil go down here too. I think C-Stick is trying to retake, but Nitro staying on that tower, but it's just the pencil. I think the pencil is just respawning, so that is a dead push for Prominence here. But they have a really good push at 20 points remaining.
Oh, indeed, and unfortunately as well, like the Tri-Slosher had to go down just before that push ended. So, oh, and they just go down as soon as they get the cooler, so they are going to be fighting coolerless here. That is definitely unfortunate. We got the bucket coming in from behind, grabbing the sloshing machine. The big bubbler just went down, put the Hydra on the run back to their base. That is going to be that push over. We see Fish sharking on the block here. Does take a trade.
Yes, and that is a crazy fast shutdown of a push coming from Prominence here. And Prominence is already starting to move in again with Seasick going 3 down here. Fish is spamming fizzies, but Fish does get the roller, but they do eventually go down, and now Kira is up in their bats and Prominence just starting to get kills over and over again. And we said with Kira getting 2, but unfortunately Prominence does go 3 down, and they can't continue to do this push any further.
I also noticed looks like they are a little scared of where the roller is. They're not quite sure where he is, and it could be pretty dangerous. Looks like the roller grabs a pick on the Hydra. That is unfortunate. Roller looking to go into up on the plat here, grab a few more picks. Sets up the bubble using the paint to try and help maneuver, and grabs another pick on Booty there.
Wow, that is an insane play from the roller, and think I think the roller was fooled, so they're gonna be back really fast here. And we we see Seasick going 3 down just again, and we see
Ooh,
the
and a wipe.
wipeout coming out, and Prominence is starting to push again back on Seasick. But we see the bucket go down to the Hydra, and Prominence just needs to get a few more kills here, just just to be able to get a few more points here. But they do end up backing up, just trying to play their life here. But the bucket says no, thank you, and gets a trade, just trying to stall at C6 push it a lot longer.
Looks like we got a bit of a reverse sweep here. That was a wipeout, though the Slosher respawned at the same moment. See Slosher trying to get some strikes up, probably looking to stall the tower a little bit, as we got a Booyah coming out from the side of Seasick. Tower coming, strikes coming out, try and stall the tower. Slosher trying to play off them. Looks like he does die to the Booyah, but grabs a double there.
Yeah, and we see this bubble on the tower. That could be huge for Seasick. And we do see them getting on tower, but this pencil does pop their cooler, and they get a pick off of it. And that is the wipeout on the side of Prominence. And that is a dead push for Seasick. And in the last 10 seconds upcoming, Prominence just needs to hold this lead here. They don't even have to push tower. And in 5 seconds, this game could be theirs. With the GG strikes just to secure it, Prominence takes game 1.
Yeah, definitely impressive from both sides. I think they played that really well. Prominence grabbing that big push early on, and then knowing that all they really had to do was just hold space. You know, even if they did get a couple pushes going, they did try to avoid getting too greedy with it. So, great gameplay on Prominence. We do obviously have a few more sets to go, so Seasick has plenty of space to try and make it back.
Yeah, for sure. And I really want to give props to Seasick for having the courage to bring out that type of comp, because Hydra is seen as a low tier right now, especially in this meta, because of Pencil. And it and I and props to Seasick to bring out that Hydra Splatin, and just kind of breaking the rules of the meta.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, if you're gonna bring the Hydra anywhere, it's gonna be on tower control. Hydra certainly is pretty solid on that map mode. So, I mean, they gave it a shot. It is unfortunate it didn't pan out, but I'm curious to see if they'll make any changes going into these other map modes, as Hydra is not the best at trying to take space. You know, it does have this. It does have a bit of an advantage on tower because the tower moves for it, because it is generally slow. And here we go, coming into Umami Ruins. Just recently got a large update. I'm sure people will be able to spot the changes real quick. And we do have the Hydra too.
Yeah, and we see both teams coming out with the exact same comps as from Inkblot Tower Control here, and we see both teams just rushing mid, trying to take control with these very small zones as well. It's gonna be easier to stall zone and also get control of the zone. We see C
Indeed.
go. Oh,
No, it's all good.
and
You
we,
keep going.
and we see Cisa go two down, and we see this Zuka also come out here, but the shot does get punished by the sloshing.
Yeah, I mean, as noted before, the zone is a little bit smaller. It's not too small, but definitely can be a bit of an impact. Though noted, there's a lot more geometry changes as we've got a new block structure on the top of mid. Dome's also quite different, but we haven't taken advantage of that yet, so talk about that a little later. As we see here, both teams have had a bit of an opportunity to hold the zone for a little bit, with C6 having a small lead. But Prominence is starting to push up. They do grab a pick on the Hydra. Not out of mid just yet. Looking to try and grab a couple more picks as we have a bit of a 2v2 in our hands.
Yeah, and we see this sloshing machine pick off that Trizuka, which is really big for C6. And we see Prominence gets another player down. C6 slowly but surely pushing into mid here, trying to get Prominence to back up and eventually take the lead. And we do see this tactic on the side of C6.
Yeah. 1 point away from lead, but if they can just recap the zone, they'll be able to grab the lead. Roller does get a couple of big picks, but we do still have the Hydra out here throwing a Booyah, trying to make some space against the Roller here. But the Pencil comes and unfortunately snipes him in the back. And we come with Zuka coming out here against the Booyah Bomb. Got the Tri-Slosher trying to save his teammate before runs into the Booyah Bomb that the machine threw. Bit of a revenge kill right there.
Yeah, and we see C6 with those two players down on the side of Prominence starting to move up, but they aren't moving up too far, and C6 does take the lead back, and and maybe C6 will start to move up near Prominence's spawn, but C6 does go down a player. We see the strikes come out on the side of Prominence, trying to move back in.
Looks like Prominence is about to get a nice solid retake here, so looks like we will probably be able to get a bit of a chance to see the new geometry, particularly around the spawn of Umami, as both teams do have more options when needing to retake. As we see, Tri-Slosher there jumps off the new grates that have been added, allowing them to get a nice angle there. And we see the sloshing machine on C6 trying to get some chip damage here. See, throwing a nice fizzy up on mid there. It looks like he is potentially... Yeah, unfortunately goes down for trade there. But Booyah does grab the slosher.
Yeah, and we see Prominence go 3 down, but Prominence had cooler, so they're gonna be back really fast. But C6 holding on to this lead at 46 remaining points here. See a desperate strike come out from the Slosher, and the Slosher does go down, but C6 needs to live this Zuka, but C6 does get 2 and make that 3 down. And now Prominence is gonna have control of this zone and control of mid, and sort of making C6 paranoid of this Roller. But we do see this Tri-Slosher trying to go on this flank here and gets 2.
Yeah, that was impressive, grabbing both the pencil and the shot as well. It does go down, but he does pull the members of Prominence away, allowing C6 to get back into mid here. Really impressive play there. It looks like they even managed to grab control back. As we go roughly 30 seconds remaining, Prominence really needs to get some good control here if they want to get the lead back.
Yeah, for sure. And we see C6 penalty points being removed, and they get down from 46, I think, to 40. And they're gonna keep on bringing them down to 37. And if C6 can hold this, but they are 2 down, I think they just want to get as many points as they can here, as Prominence flips the zone here, and we are now going into overtime, seeing whichever team can cap the zone first.
Yeah, I mean, overtime, and unfortunately, time does run out for Prominence. They were not able to get that clean cap, and is it going to take the next game? I mean, definitely impressive. I think they played that very well. The try slosh through with that flank was really impressive. The pencil definitely did not expect that.
Yeah, for sure. And C-Stick, again with that Hydra splat, being able to take down a bunch of players from mostly afar. So re- really good game from both teams, but especially C-Stick just being able to play against Prominence comp really well and being able to snag the win there.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we weren't able to see all of the changes on the new Mommy, but I think what we did see was fairly impressive. Teams taking advantage of the small new changes to mid, and I'm sure they took advantage of the new paintable surfaces that were in the spawn there. I mean, honestly, though, even though they cut the zone size down, it still felt fairly good that game. You know, the zone, it was some on the easier side to contest, but it was still somewhat difficult to cap, and I think that's definitely a really good sign for this map going forward.
Yeah, and especially with the decently open mid, the Umami is just a completely better map now, and I feel that it's 100% way more enjoyable for
Oh,
not
oh
only
yeah.
attacking but also defending. Now you can get more specials from your spawn with more areas in your spawn and a widened area of spawn. So you can just pick for your special, start your retake.
hmm Uh, Looks like we are about to go off into Scorch Gorge Clam Blitz. I mean, personally, I like this map, and it's slightly different now because of the changes, so a little bit better, and we'll see how both teams tackle this map.
Yeah, and I think Prominence subbed in a player, and we do see the Spy Dualies come out on the side of Prominence and C6 sticking with that tried and true comp of Hydra Splatling a machine, Tri Slosher Nouveau, and the Slaughtershot Jr.
Nice to see C6 sticking to what they know. Prominence swapping around their comp a fair bit. We've got Splat Dualies and Machine Neo running a double Zuka comp here. So, yeah, I'm curious to see how C6 will manage to take care of this new comp. And we see they really don't like that machine, Hydra, taking that thing down.
Yeah, and I think C6 is set up really good to try to move into the enemy's base here. But we do see the Hydra getting back up, but we see C6 go two down, and that is a really good position for Prominent here.
But I
And
mean, Moody is not giving up top. He's got a bubble up there, and he's got his deadly splat bombs. Does go down, unfortunately, though.
yeah, we see C6 go two down again. And now Prominence is starting to move directly in, and and this pencil is just gonna spam paint across the map, seeing as they are close to Cooler. And we do see, speaking of Cooler, we see C6 Cooler go down, and overall, this is just a bunch of fighting. But we do see the machine going for a sneaky score here, bringing C6 scores to 80.
Yeah, definitely interesting, but I have been noticing, while they have been getting picks, there's not been too much space trading on the side of either team. You know, each team managing to hold on fairly well. Seasick does have 80 points, but Prominence did get the pity clam from that. They have two power clams now that they have the ability to use. You've got a Zuka coming out. Doesn't grab any picks, and the big bubbler comes up, so should allow them to be protected against any other potential Zukas, as another one is deployed.
Yeah, and we just see C6, not C6, Common trying their hardest to take space from C6, and we do see this happening with Cecil going 3 down. It's just the machine left. And Prominence gets their first score of the game and they take the lead. But it is just a pencil in the Splat Dualies over here just trying to back up as much as possible. But Cecil able to get a pick on these pencil. So and now Prominence is on the defense here.
Yeah, really impressive defense by Seasick there, managing to get Prominence out before they could jump the Pity Clam in. So that was definitely good. Two members down on the side of Prominence as we got the Tri-Slosher moving in on the enemy base here, trying to grab the pencil, but is forced to jump out. Fair play, as you don't want to go down when you're trying to make a push here.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm surprised nobody on the side of C6 grabbed that pity clam and jumped that ball to the basket. Because maybe if since Thomas could have been focused on the flank, the other members of C6 could have been able to move up and get some kills and extend that push to the lead here. But C6 going 3 down, it's just a machine and Prominence does kill them. And now Prominence is in a good spot to start a push here.
Yeah, I like your assessment that maybe a bit of a miscommunication. They probably could have jumped a ball in when the Tri-Slosher was flanking, and the Tri also had 7. They could have gotten a very interesting push there, but thankfully the members of CSIG not too punished for that unfortunate Zuka incident. Though, as I'm saying this, Prominence does get a score in here, and they're putting that score even lower than before. They might even be able to get their. No, it doesn't. It looks like they already used their pity balls, but they are still ticking it down below 30, and it's a 2v2 right now with just the Tri and the Hydra against the Machine and the Pencil.
Yeah, and really impressive push from Prominence here. And going to the last 10 seconds, D-Stick has to make a real last ditch effort here, trying to get to that basket. But D-Stick, even if they do score, they have mountain a mountain of points to climb here, and not with a lot of time to do so. This Tri-Stars just trying to save the ball, and they do end up getting it, but C-Stick is running out of time, and that is game 2 going to Prominence.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate there. They weren't able to grab the ball before their basket had reset, so they weren't able to get an extra pity clam, and the Tri-Slosher forced to give up their 7 to save their pity, and yeah, just unfortunately ran out of time there, and I mean, it is kind of unfortunate, maybe if they had a bit better communication, they might have been able to get some extra points off, but I mean, good job of Prominence there. They are at match point now, as we will be moving on to Crableg Capital Rainmaker.
Yeah, and Crableg Capital Rainmaker, I'm fully expecting to see this Hydra Splatling out again, just sitting on the grates of the map and just mowing it down. Prominence. If there is any map I feel like Prominence would struggle on in this set, it would 100% be Crableg Capital Rainmaker. And I'm really interested to see if either team is gonna go for quick points, but in a less safe route, or they're gonna take the safe path of the great and get less points, or they're gonna get the same amount of points, but it's gonna be way slower, sure, but being more safe and like, but also taking the risk of just instantly being shot at and getting killed and stopping your push.
Yeah, that's fair. Definitely interesting to see how both teams are able to handle it. I mean, something nice about Crableg is the fact that both both checkpoints are pretty valid approach options, and you can also rotate between the two. A bit of a there's the potential for a bit of a mix-up play. So both teams will have to be careful when on defense here.
Yeah, for sure. And we see the same comp coming out on the side of Prominence here. But, ooh, and we see a slight switch up on the side of Seasick. Instead of having a Tie Slosher, Seasick now has a just plain Slosher, but for their cooler player, they have an NZAP 85 here. And Seasick getting this Rainmaker off early and getting a early pick here. This is looking really bad on Prominence, but it's also looking really bad on Seasick, and Seasick does get wiped out here.
No, it was Prominence that got wiped out. Cringe is still there with the Rainmaker.
Oh,
That was a very weird scrap there, and it looks like they do have the Rainmaker. They are setting up for a push on the right side here. The Zuka comes out trying to grab the Rainmaker, isn't able to grab it, but the Pencil manages to snipe it before they can grab the check.
yeah, that's a really good stop from Prominence here. And if Prominence can get this checkpoint, it's gonna be more pressure onto Seasick here, because now not only does Seasick have to break through the checkpoint, Seasick also has to pop the Rainmaker again and get it past that checkpoint to secure the lead. And we see Prominence getting their push to 48.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the Zap did a little bit of feeding there, going down with their coolers, so probably not going to have that online for a little bit there. They have had decent defense, though. Looks like Rainmaker about to reset here, but we got another Zuka coming out, grabs the Hydra. That is unfortunate. And two members are on the right side. Both go down because of the point sensor there. And it looks like Prominence setting up for another push.
Yeah, and also if we see this mix up, you were talking about earlier with Prominence first taking the left side to get that checkpoint, and they got a little bit of stray points off of the left side too. But now Prominence is taking the right side of the gate and getting their push down to 34, which is huge points. And now Prominence is set up really good to defend on this.
Yeah, I mean, they can basically just sit on defense for the rest of the game with a push like that. I mean, obviously, if the opportunity arises, you want to try and take it, but they are in a really good spot. Got the Crab tank out here and manages to snipe the Rainmaker. And the shot managed to grab the Machine Neo there, or just the Vanilla Machine. And it's just the Hydra now.
Yeah, and that's really huge for Prominence because Prominence has this Taizuka and they do pop it, but this sees no kicks here. Unfortunately, oh, never mind.
Oh,
The Taizuka
commentator's
gets
curse
two.
right there.
Crazy. His first
Oh, dear.
commentator's curse.
Yeah, the Zuka curving around the scissor lift, managing to grab two picks there. We love janky Zuka hitboxes there. But they do suffer a wipeout, and Seasick is back on the offense here.
Yeah, and with just 1 minute and 30 seconds left, D6 is 100% under a bit of pressure here because they have a long way to go through. With Captain, Captain could get this fish stalled, but C6 does get this checkpoint here, which could be huge. And they pop the Rainmaker. They go for some points, but Prominence ends up killing the Rainmaker, and that's 3 down on the side of C6.
Ooh, and a wipeout too. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Prominence getting another push back in. They're playing with house money here as they do not need this push right now. Looks like, yeah, they're going to grab a few extra points. 14-10, down to 6, and a wipeout to Seasick too. They might get the knockout here.
And there it is, the dunk, and that is set for Prominence taking a very good defensive game.
Yeah, that was very impressive on the side of Prominence there. Congratulations to them managing to grab a nice 3-1 victory there as they will be moving on to the finals.
Yeah, and even though C6 has lost the semifinal set, their their run is not over yet because C6 still has their third place match to try to get on that podium placement for the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, good luck to Csiek. Really like to see the Hydra out there. Always great to see those off-meta picks, and I wish them well in their. Yeah, I wish them well in the third place match. But
Yeah,
we
for sure.
will. Yeah, we will be probably shortly moving on to the finals, as it looks like we have. Uh, looks like, yeah, both teams have been decided. So 10% increased damage to Splash Wall W and Prominence will be coming up in the final shortly here. And we are live as we have the finals here. Our two teams are the 10% increased damage to Splash Wall W and Prominence. One team referencing the odd way they decided to do this patch where they individually listed weapons as doing more damage to Splash Wall. I don't know why they didn't just make this a Splash Wall in there, but whatever. Nintendo wants to lengthen their patch.
Yes. Nintendo thought they did something with the patch with listing everything as individual, but wow, we're gonna be hopping straight to match one on Flamblets, Robo Ramen. And we see the Galugas and the Tenterella come out on the side of 10% Splash Wall. And we see the comp, as we saw from the last set, on the side of Prominence here.
Yeah. I think I see why their pickup's that name. You know, clearly the Glugas are the boss man around here, and they're upset their wall is slightly weaker against a couple weapons. And we see the Glugas coming in, wreaking havoc, grabbing a nice triple there as only the splatter shot left. That is impressive.
Wow, Galuga's really just shown off their like really big strength of the weapon to just continue on kills, especially with the Bria bomb out for heavy continuation. But we see this crab tank pop, but it is gonna get shot by the Zuka. But I don't know if it's gonna be Shredder or not. And 10% splash ball with a decent score, and the Zuka coming out and gets a pick on the pencil.
Ugh. Yeah, definitely nice that they managed to grab at least some points in the board, but only grabbing 20 is not that great, especially when you get a triple like that. We do have the Tenebella getting set up here on the left side, though, putting some pressure, grabbing one pick, and enabling the rest of their team to get in. The Gluga's coming in, grabbing another pick, forcing the pencil out, as we got the Crab here to try and space the enemy away, and Azuka as well.
Yeah, and 10% splash ball goes from a 80, it goes from a push that goes to 80 to a push that goes to 46, which is really good on the side of 10% splash ball here. And 10% splash ball is just gonna hold mid here, but we do see this shot going on a flank into Prominence's spawn here, and taking their snipe, and this shot is close to Zuka, but unfortunately goes down.
Yeah, does go down, but they were able to grab their team's coolers, so at least they were able to get a nice fast respawn there. And they have Azuka ready. And it looks like, oh, they grab a nice triple with it. Dang! The 10% splash wall is not messing around as they put Prominence on their knees.
Yeah, 10% splash ball is here to win. And with that triple of the Zuka, 10% splash ball is just holding this down and just trying to move up and on Prominence, and the shot gets the pencil. That is 2 down on the side of Prominence, and the shot starts to flank around the block again, but eventually goes down. But they do have coolers.
Yeah, that was really impressive. Good job on Providence for catching that out, but still, that shot is on a roll. All the members here have definitely shown up, ready to go. As she looks like attempted another push going on. Not sure. Looks like we will get a few more points on the board. 3 members up, but looks like Prominence is starting to regain control.
Yeah, and 10% splash ball just still coming in at it, trying to get more picks on Prominence here, and Prominence is finally starting to move in, and they use the crab tank, but this Tentabella coming in, and Prominence getting 3 dead on it already, and make that a wipeout on the side of Prominence. We have 10% splash ball moving in already, and we see this Gluga playing really fast and already on Prominence's pipe. But 10% splash ball going 2 down and being forced back up.
Yeah, indeed. The 10% splash wall has been really good at using that Tentabrella there in order to kind of clump up the members of Prominence, and then they just wreak havoc with a nice Zuka. So, plus as well, they're really good at following up with their picks, which is definitely impressive.
Yeah, for sure. And we see 10% splash ball having the Zuka. It's being used, but does get shut down by Prominence. But Prominence is 3 down. It's just a pencil alive. And then the last 20 seconds, Prominence needs to try to make a move here as fast as possible. But 10% splash ball gaining control of mid here, and just still trying to move up. We see this Tentabella pop to Zuka, but unfortunately gets shut down by the sloshing machine.
Yeah. I mean, Prominence has no points on the board, but I mean, if they get a really good push here, they might be able to take it back. It'll be very difficult, though. Overtime is about halfway over, and we barely just got out of mid. Does grab a double, though. The pencil rushing in with the ball, but gets sniped by the other pencil. And it looks like that's going to be game one, going to 10% splash wall.
Yeah, 10% splash ball played really good that whole entire game. Props to them. And I really want to shout out that Pentabrella, who can just launch their shield through mid, or just launch their shield in general, and create a put the decision on the side of prominence, whether if they want to ignore the tent shield and if the tent player or someone else is following up on the tent shield and potentially die, or focus on the tent shield, but having to be pushed back a little bit further and not being able to take as much space as you could.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, they were able to use that Tenebrella in situations where Prominence was kind of forced to have to deal with it, and that allowed them to, you know, set up the rest of their members and also set up several Zukas, which allowed them to get some key picks there. So, really impressive on the side of 10% Splash Wall, and curious to see how they'll do on our next map, Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker.
Yeah, in Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker. This map is infamous for having last second pushes go really far, especially in overtime here. And it's gonna be interesting to see what both of these teams can do. And we are going into this game too. And the 10% splash ball is looking really strong here.
Looks like we got massive change-ups on both sides here. Both sides opting to ditch the pencil, and we got a Tri-Slosher on one side and a heavy edit on the other side. Got a nice fight for the Rainmaker in mid here, with it going to Prominence at the start. Of course, we do still have that trusty Tentabrella, of course. And look, but it looks like got a bit of an interesting, bit of a 2v2 here, and it looks like Splash Wall grabbing the Rainmaker, but going down to Prominence.
Yeah, and I think Splash Ball trying to get some points on the board while there are two members of Prominence distracted in mid was a good idea, but there was a member on Prominence just able to dive in and shut down that push. But we do see another push getting through on the side of 10% Splash Wall and pushing that to 68, but not quite getting the checkpoint.
Ooh, nice pick on the Tenebrella there. Looks like Prominence going to be able to have a really nice push here. If they can get in front of that checkpoint, I think that's going to, yep, that's going to be checkpoint there. And looks like 10% Splash Wall not in the best position. They deploy the Zuka early, but they, oh, and the Tri-Slosher goes down. They might be able to sneak the Rainmaker past. The tent shield goes down, and they're able to slip the Rainmaker past it.
Yeah, what a push from Prominence here. But a lot of people say no lead is safe on Humpback. And 10% Splash Ball is right now is just here to prove that statement to be true. But Prominence is trying to prove the statement false. And the 10% Splash Ball is moving in here and gets this checkpoint. And is set up really good to take this lead from Prominence here.
Yeah, Prominence spamming everything they got in an attempt to try and shake up 10% Splash Wall's defense. And I mean, they're going to have to. The biggest risk is that Tentabrella being able to launch their shield and let the Rainmaker coast behind it. Though it looks like Splash Wall uses up all the resources and loses a lot of members right now. All that's left is the Tri-Slosher and two players just respawning. as Prominence is... looks like, yeah, they're going to pop the Rainmaker. Probably going to pick that up, bring it back into mid here. Or
Yeah.
potentially might be trying to bait out the Tri-Slosher there. I do have the tent coming in.
Yeah, and the tent.
Yeah, nice on the Rainmaker reset there.
Yeah, and also I want to point out when 10% Splash Ball's push was being stopped, it was just Nitro on the field with that bucket and Neptune on the side of 10% Splash Ball got a bit greedy there and jumped in, which caused him to die, which might have not been as ideal. But we see 10% Splash Ball trying to get in here. They get a pick on the splatter shot. They are so close to lead. It's just the splat duels, and there is the wipeout.
Oh, that is really unfortunate. The wipe all the way to the checkpoint. That was a really bad time to wipe out, and you see the little tent shield kind of flailing around a little bit as it breaks. Dang, that is impressive.
Yeah, really crazy game on the side of 10% Splash Ball here, and 10% Splash Ball is in a really good spot to win the whole entire tournament. And they are at match point, and we're gonna be going to Hagglefish Market on Flat Zone. And this map is heavily, and I do mean heavily, pencil favored. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw both teams pull out the pencil here to this Flat Zone.
Yeah, I have seen some heavy edit being run on this map at a higher level, but not sure if we'll see any backlist comps coming out. I feel like one of the things backlist really has been enjoying right now is that screen, and well, we don't see screen as much in the lower level around here, and unfortunately due to the sound effect causing issues. But so yeah, probably we'll be seeing pencil on both sides. Also to note, Hagglefish has a few small changes for its zones layout, so sure, we'll see how both teams handle those minor changes, see if we see either of them try to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and I want to point out two changes on Hagglefish Market splat zones, and the first one being is that the pole in the middle of the zone is now gone.
No.
So oh no.
We got a Mako mark here. There might be. See if there's an issue here. I mean, they'll reset if there's an issue.
It would be crazy if they gentlemen did. Are they playing it out?
It appears to be a Sendu issue. Yeah. Okay. So we're actually going into Mako Mart on Splat Zones here. That's what Sendu's telling us. All right, we got a little bamboozled here. So no, we are going into Mako Mart here. See both teams changing up a little bit. We got a Wiper out on the side of Prominence and Zeko Fin on the side of 10% Splash Wall here.
Yeah, and we see Prominence getting an early cap on this zone and moving down to 70 points. And as a first push, that is really good, but we do see this Wiper go down, and 10% Splash Wall is trying to move that in, but Prominence is holding on to mid and holding on to the zone, getting down to less than 50 points.
Yeah, I mean, Prominence here kind of in a bad spot as they are 2 games down, so they really want to be able to get this win, and looks like they're doing a really good job right now, down to 30. Unfortunately, only the Wiper left, but he's going to stall as long as he possibly can. We see Tenebrella coming in, the Hammer coming to try and counter the tent, falling on the tent, but does miss him. Oh, still manages to trade, though. Nice.
Yeah, and there's 2 down on the side of Prominence here, and 10% Splash Ball is just trying to hold on to this zone as much as possible. And we see the strikes come out on the side of Prominence trying to get a cap on the zone, and the strikes do succeed to get the cap here. We see this Pencil on the left side with the Zuka trying to pick off this pencil, and they are able to get the pencil here. And with the Zuka pop, that could be huge for the side of 10% Splash Ball.
Yeah, it looks like 10% Splash Ball still able to hold control of the zone. They do have some penalty points on them, which we'll have to take down first, so that does give Prominence a little bit of breathing room. We see the Hammer going in, attempting to find the Tentabrilla, doesn't manage to grab it, and unfortunately does go down. You see a shot go down on the side of Splashwall's team, and we have the Tentabrilla attempting to get back in to try and re-grab that zone.
Yeah, and this Tentaprella is playing really well on the sides of on Mako Mark here. And the 10 gets a pick here, and now 10% Splash Ball is in a really good spot and trying to take the enemy team's bad. So you see the Zuka come out, it gets a trade, and the 10 was cooler, so that death isn't gonna matter much to 10% Splash Ball. And 10% Splash Ball is on the verge of taking this lead here. They just need a few more points, but we see the strikes of desperation come out from Prominence, but they will not cap the zone.
Oh, but we do have a bit of follow-up from the Wiper in the bucket, and they managed to cap it. I mean, unfortunately, that splatter shot gave up a lot of space there, allowing the Wiper and the bucket to just kind of take that area on the left side for free. Definitely a bit of a misplay there, as Prominence not out of this game just yet, but 10% Splash Wall, low penalty points, and they only need a few more points to take lead. Looks like that the shot coming out gets sniped by the Tent. The Tent, using a Zuka, grabs another pick. The Pencil forced to jump out, and that's going to be a lead swap on the side of Splash Wall here.
Yeah, and Prominence doesn't have a lot of time here. Prominence has 10 ticks left, but they go 2 down. This is the Pencil.
Oh, no.
Pencil goes down. The strikes of desperation and also 10% Splash Ball taking the set 3-0 against Providence. And 10% Splash Ball is your Coral Clash Low Tide number 10 winner.
Yeah, I mean, good job on Prominence there, but unfortunately, you can't beat the Tentacadar. Yeah, I mean, big shout out to that Tenebrel there, camping on the block on the right side, managed to grab several picks with the main gun, the Zuka, flanking the Pencil from behind. Like, man, it is really hard to get a Tenebrella out if you don't know what you're doing. I mean, they even tried to use a Wiper to try and take down the Tent, but unfortunately Wiper didn't have too much success with that, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, they definitely showed that 10% increase to damage to Splash Ball really doesn't mean that much. They still functioned pretty well with that very unfortunate nerf.
Yeah, and good games on the side of both teams here, and it's really crazy to see a finals 3-0 sweep. And I think, yeah, 10% Splash Ball only dropped 1 game in bracket, which is really impressive on their end. And just congratulations to them. And congratulations to Prominence for making it this far. They had a really, really good run here. And the tournament went great.
Oh yeah, I think they definitely did a good job there. I mean, it's kind of funny too, like 10% Splash Wall. Like, they made that pickup like 1 day before this tournament starts, and yeah, they basically sweep the whole thing. So congrats to them. Prominence, you guys did a great job. Definitely should be happy about that second place. I think, yeah, I mean, sure, always things to work on. I do hope they take the game footage and they go back and review over those matches. But yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that has been Coral Clash Low Tide number 10. Where can the people find you, Poe Plush?
I am pretty much nowhere. I have a YouTube channel up, but there's not much going on with it. I might start posting. have no idea. Yeah, I'm pretty much nowhere.
All right, that's fair. No pressure. If you guys are interested in what I'm doing, you can find me on Twitter at Yoshikai64. Do also do the occasional stream at Squidaneer channel. Probably will start streaming again as the new season comes out, so we'll see what happens there. Yeah, again, one last congrats to 10% increased damage to Splash Wall. Uh, who knows? Maybe it'll secretly be the most impactful buff of the patch. Definitely. I guess nerf. I don't know. It's weird, but yeah. I hope every team here had fun, and wish everyone have a good rest of their day. And yeah, good luck to all the teams.
Yep. Like